Hi, welcome to Games Made Easy. My name is Lavinia and this is my cat Peter. Today I'm very happy to teach you and give you some tips on how to play Kingdomino, designed by Bruno Cathala and published by Blue Orange. Kingdomino is a lovely game that I always enjoy playing. It's one of those games that you're going to learn in 10 minutes and will keep you coming back for more. In Kingdomino, you are a king seeking new lands to expand your kingdom. You must explore the different terrains and assemble the most productive kingdom, and do that better than the other kings. You will try to build a 5x5 grid by connecting dominoes with matching terrains and acquiring crowns. The player with the most points wins the game. Let's start by setting up the game. Today I will play a 4-player game. A 3-player game plays almost the same, but I'll explain the 2-player game at the end of the tutorial. You start by placing this starting tile in front of you. Then you place the castle on top of the starting tile and you get one king matching the color next to it. Then take all the dominoes out of the box. In a 4-player game, you use all 48 dominoes, only use 36 for 3 players and 24 dominoes for 2. You shuffle and then place them in the box. Place the box here. You draw the dominoes from there. How many depends on the number of players. You draw 4 dominoes for 4 players and only 3 in a 3-player game. Arrange them in ascending order so that the smallest number is closest to the box. Then flip them so you can see the terrains. In Kingdomino, we have 6 types of terrains: gardens, villages, lakes, forests, mountains, and wheat fields. And some have crowns. You need those to make points. Setup is now done and you can start playing. In Kingdomino, the order of play for the first round is completely random. After the first turn, it depends on the domino players have picked. Let me explain. One player takes all the kings in their hand and randomly draws one. The player who owns that king places it on the domino of their choice. Draw another king randomly, and that player now places his king on an empty domino. Remember that each domino can only have one king. The last player has no choice. Once we've placed all the kings, we create a new column of dominoes from the draw pile. Draw 4 new dominoes, place them in ascending order with the lowest closest to the box, and flip them. Now we have 2 lines of dominoes, one with kings and one without. Now the playing order is set depending on where your king is. It's the turn of the player whose king is placed on the domino closest to the box. That player must take 2 actions. Your first action is to take the domino you selected and place it next to your starting tile in your kingdom. Leave your king here for now. This is a good time to explain more about the tiles and a few connection rules that must be followed. The starting tile is like a joker. You can place any terrain next to it. Thereafter, on other terrains, they must have at least one terrain that matches, like here, or here, or here. This, for example, is not allowed. If you can't add a domino to your territory following these rules, you will need to discard it. Another essential rule is that all your dominoes need to fit in a 5x5 grid. Here are some examples of completed 5x5 grids where the castle is in various places. If, due to bad planning, one or more of your dominoes does not fit, you will need to discard them. Your second action is to pick a new domino from the new line by placing your king. I will place my king here because all the others are not really great for me and I want to be first the next round. The next player will place his tile here and the king will go here. The third player will place their tile here and will put the king here, and the last player places here and again has no choice but to take this domino. The round is complete and we open 4 new dominoes from the box the same way as before. Now the first player will be the blue and will place the domino here and the king there. The second player will place the domino here and the king there, and the third does the same, and the fourth places the king in the remaining free domino. This goes on and on until you run out of dominoes. Ultimately, what you want to do is place as many of the same terrain together with as many crowns, as these will give you the most points. You continue playing like this until all the dominoes are finished, and then it's time to count the points. You count your points the following way. Count the number of connected territory squares and multiply that number of squares by the number of crowns that appear in that territory. So for this player, he has got 8 forests and 2 crowns, so that's 16 points. He has 2 gardens and 4 crowns, so that's 8 points. The wheat fields don't give him any points because there's no crowns. And for the lakes, there is 5 lakes and 1 crown, so 5 points. For the mine, they have 2 and 4 crowns, so that's 8 points, for a total of 37 points. The player with the most points wins the game. In case of a tie, the player with the biggest territory wins the game. If it's still a tie, the player with the most crowns wins. And in the unlikely event it's still a tie, the players share the victory. Once you're familiar with the game, you can change things a bit, as there are some additional rules, like the dynasty rule, where you play 3 rounds in a row and add up the points for all 3 rounds. Another 2 rules give you bonus points at the end of the game. The Middle Kingdom gives you 10 additional points if your castle is in the middle of the grid. Harmony rule gives you 5 additional points if your castle grid is complete. You can mix these different rules and see what you prefer. Now, I'm going to explain the 2-player game, which is a little different from the 3 and 4-player game. Each player takes 2 kings instead of 1. You still start the game by drawing the king randomly and immediately place it on a domino tile. The difference is that you do that twice, as you have 2 kings. Like in a 3 and 4-player game, the player who will start is the one closest to the box. Here, the first player picks this tile, then goes again, as its second king is here, and places the king on this domino. There's also a special rule for 2-player games, the Mighty Duel rule, where you play with all the tiles in the game. So now, instead of building a 5x5 grid, you can build up to a 7x7 grid. The game goes on until all the dominoes have been played or discarded, and we count the points just like in a 3 and 4-player game. Now, my tips to win at Kingdomino are: have a look at the terrain, as you will find the distribution of type of terrain is different. There are around 26 fields versus 6 mountains only. Also, the number of crowns varies. Try to plan your grid so you don't have to discard tiles. Crowns are important. Balance this with sometimes being first to pick for the next round. Try to focus on 3 terrains. If you try to do all 6, you won't get as many points. Have a look at what is the next domino coming to adjust your placement. And that's how you play Kingdomino. It's a game that offers strategy. The mechanics are simple, but oh my, it has so many possibilities. It's a game that you can play over and over, and it keeps surprising you. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like, and if you're interested in learning more board games, consider subscribing and clicking the bell to get notified when I post new videos. It's a great way to stay updated on the games I teach, and it helps support the channel. Thank you. I started Games Made Easy back in 2020, and it's been an incredible journey, learning so many skills along the way to make this channel what it is today. I'm really proud of how far it's come and excited to keep growing it even more. If you'd like to support the channel, there are a few ways to do so. You can become a YouTube member or a patron for ongoing support, or if you prefer a one-time contribution, there's also a Buy Me a Coffee. You'll find the links in the video description. And for YouTube memberships, there's a button at the top right of the channel's homepage. Your support means a lot, but even just watching, liking, and commenting helps a ton. Speaking of which, if there's a game you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely check it out. We'll make more games easy soon. Bye for now.